Hey there, welcome back to the channel. And in this video, Jesus, it just don't stop. Let me show you what's going on today. All right, so I guess we can officially say this is now a series of videos because it's regarding the same car that we've been working on, which is this. So we're bringing back the van again. This time working on the rear brakes. So let me get into what it is that we're doing. All right, so come on, follow along for the ride. Let's see here. So you can see I kind of got ahead of myself and took off the wheel. For some reason, these lug nuts were seized. I literally broke at least two freaking what's it called? The breaker bar. I guess it's called, yeah, breaker bar. Breaking these lug nuts loose, and I had to heat up the whole thing, or try to heat up as much as I could. Spray some WD-40, heat it up, and wham, with a cheat bar or something, you know. Anyway, I sprayed everything down with brake cleaner. I pretty much, which is why it's looking a little bit too clean. Which is, you know, it's always good to have things clean, just to check up on the condition of everything, basically. The reason we're looking at the rear brakes today is because, you know, since the front brakes were bad, like real bad, we decided, okay, let's take a look at the rear brakes, see how bad those are. And these are pretty much the results. So after cleaning them, I mean, it does seem to have, you know, a good amount of meat left, but they seem to be cracking. Like, as you can see there's some cracking going on, which I'm pretty sure it's not good. On this side over here, not so much, but you kind of see it a little bit. I mean, everything else seems to be fine. The shoes, these are called brake shoes, just in case you guys didn't know. So the brake shoes pretty much are cracking for some reason. The brake drums here are pretty much, they have little high spots, low spots type of thing, and they look pretty glazed, I think. I'm not really sure if that's the term for it, but I would say that, you know, a new pair of shoes and, you know, drums would always be nice, especially, you know, we don't know the history of the van. Now let me squeeze in here. This is the driver's side, and for this side, the brake shoes over here are, where is it? That's really cracked right there. So I am a little bit worried about that. This side over here, showing some signs. That's a big crack right there as well. Almost goes all the way down. So I am a little bit weary of, you know, keeping these on. Since, you know, we have everything new up front, you know, might as well go ahead and do this to the back as well. So I haven't done brake drums or worked on brake drums in a while, so I'm definitely gonna get a little refresher course here. And, you know, along the way, I learned, you guys are gonna learn, so it's a win-win for all of us, really. So let's go ahead and go to the parts store, and hopefully you have everything in stock, or else it's another waiting game. So let's go and bring everything we need. See you guys in a bit. Finally back home, got the stuff. Let me show you what we got. We managed to find, thankfully, the brake drums in stock. For those of you looking for them, $89.86 for the rear drums. Also found the rear shoes, which is $4.73, and we stocked up on brake cleaner. We got 3 brake cleaners on hand, just so we can do some cleaning once we take off the old parts that are on there. We didn't pick up new hardware. I guess we were just gonna try our luck without it. So anyway, with that being said, let's get down to it. We're actually right here on the driver's side, the rear, and the very first step you want to take, believe me, you want to do this, you want to take plenty of pictures of how, you know, things are placed, because there are a lot of springs and little pieces. Once you take them off, you know, you're gonna forget. So it's best for you to take plenty of pictures, you know, with good lighting of like how things go, videos if you can or if you want to, but for sure at least bare minimum pictures. They'll help you tremendously. With that being said, you know, that's a warning right there for you guys. Don't do it like me, just kind of eyeball it with, you know, comparing, because the driver's side and the passenger side, although they have the same components, but they're kind of inverted, I would say. Again, take pictures for your sake, for your sanity. Let's get down to it. So we'll be working on the driver's side, because I have already done the passenger side, and which is why I tell you to take pictures. Big mistake, but okay, we got through it. So yeah, with that being said, let's go and show you, you know, piece by piece how to take off the driver's side at least. That way you have a good idea. You take pictures. Take pictures. Let's go. Let's do it. All right, so here we are. As you can see, the driver's side. Some video for you guys, just in case you mess up like I did. And the reason I messed up is it's just, you know, the order of how things go. Well, it doesn't, as long as you put it back together how it was, but you know, it's just very frustrating because there are a lot of little pieces. But we're gonna start, you know, pretty much taking these off first, then work our way around and finally the bottom. That way, you know, it'll be a lot easier. Have some type of organization or order of which things go. All right, so first spring we're gonna take off is this one. We're gonna hook it from here, the big piece right here. You might need to straighten it out a little bit just so you can make it easier on yourself. Okay, that one's first. This one is second. Okay, so you are gonna need pliers. It's gonna take some, you know, some muscle to get these off for sure. Okay, so for this one, make sure, notice how it's hooked on here. You know, make sure to put everything back how you took it off. So important. Okay, now that we took these two off, and you can see here, now it'll look like this. After this, we're gonna take this one off, this bar right here, which is gonna kind of loosen this side over here. So this one's next. Again, take pictures. Make sure to see how it's kind of hooked on both ends. There you go. It was a bit tough, but got it done. This one's off on this end. Now make sure there is a little piece right here, this back piece right here that hooks onto this one. Make sure to note how it's on this plaque right here. So just keep that in mind, because this is a smaller piece, so you definitely need to make sure you put it back like this. And also this little spring, how it's hooked on there, make sure to hook it on just like how it is right there. So now it's time to take this off right here. All right, so we got this little spring off. Again, it hooks on like that. This one you hook it on all the way inside over here, and it'll end up being like this. So put this. Once we took this off, this came off, which is, it goes here, right below the little cylinder here. Let's see, now we can go ahead and take this one off and this one off. It's pretty much, you push it in, probably do it with hand too. Let's see, well, you gotta put your finger in the back because there's a little rod. I don't know if you can see that piece right there. You gotta push it from the back while you turn it. So do that for this and for this. Let's go. Okay, now we took these two little springs off. Now I can basically just take it all off. And this one also, we got right here, came from here. Take this off as well. All that's missing now is, let's see, this bottom piece is right here. This is the adjuster, the adjuster screw, and another spring. So what I'm gonna do now, what I'm actually gonna show you, there you go, you see, it came off all in one piece. So I'm gonna lay it down on the floor. That way, hopefully, I can keep it in one piece. Okay, scratch that. We're not there yet. So, as you see, everything is in one piece. But in order to take everything off in one piece, I have to take off that little C-clip right there. And that C-clip holds on to the, I guess it would be the handbrake or the foot brake, the emergency brake, I guess we call it, which is this little plaque right here that runs up all over here. And that little pin right there, that's part of it. This is where it connects to the little C-clip. So, you know, I usually just with a small screwdriver, just kind of like play with it and take it out. Just take out the C-clip. I mean, take off the C-clip. C-clip is off. Again, with a small screwdriver, should be easy peasy. Now, you see that pin? You pretty much just push it out, and both brake shoes with these things attached should come off. And there you go. The foot brake right here. There's a little washer that I believe it kind of fell off, but I think it goes here. So just keep that in mind. Little washer right there. And the old brake shoes are here. So again, this is what we got to work with right here. So now let's compare the new brake shoes, which are these over here. So there you go. So basically what we're doing now, we're gonna be ready to reassemble it. Just try to piece everything together again. I'm not sure why this is stuck still. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's because of this. This holds on this plaque to the brake shoe. That's good to know. So let's go ahead and start transferring everything from here to the new shoes. Before we put the brake shoes on, I do like to set the bottom spring and the tensioner or the adjuster together, kind of like how we took it off. Because once it's on, it's going to be a little bit tougher to put the spring on in particular. Don't forget this little pin thing. Make sure to put it back on right here, so that way this bracket attaches to the shoe. This little spring here, and this little three-legged friend right here. Make sure to put this on as well. So now that we have this put together, now we can take this and put it on over here. But first, let's give it a little cleaning with some brake cleaner or something, so it can look a little bit more decent. All right, so this is where we at. Again, I put this little spring in first, then went over here and put this one in with the base on it, and the little plaque or the metal thing here. Notice how I didn't put this or this on, because it's a lot of haggling, and you have to hold the little rod in the back here for this to pop out on this side. So you got to hold everything together in place while you take the pliers and kind of grab this, and it's a little bit of a hassle, but got it done. Now we go ahead, first this little thing, grab this piece and put it on the back over here. Put this how it was, which is like this from the back, and put this little spring from here. But I can't do it with one hand, so I'm gonna drop the camera for real quick, put it together, and come back to you guys. We got the little spring on and this little piece. I did have to take this off again, because to put this piece behind, before I put this, pretty much put this piece and this piece together first, then put the spring on, because it's gonna be pretty hard to put this one in the back once it's on. So okay, so finally, now that we have this assembled, the spring's on. Now we have the bottom portion done already. Now we're gonna go ahead and put this one on, which is, if you remember, it goes something like that. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on. Again, use pliers, use screwdrivers, whatever you can to put this on, use it. You're gonna need it. Finally, I got this little spring on, and my God, was it a pain in the butt. I had to use a pick and like 2 screwdrivers and just, going to town. Now that we got that one on, now I'm gonna go ahead and put this on with the spring, which kind of goes, let's see if I can put it on here with one hand. Okay, there we go. So it goes from this end, it goes in here, and from this other end, it goes right about there. So that's where it goes, right there. Now, let's see, where's that? Here it is. Now it's time to put this one. So as you remember, this one hooks onto here, and it goes up here. So we're almost done. On this side looks like. Let's keep going. Now we have a rod. Now it's time to put the other spring, which is this one. It goes here. Oh, let's see, here to there. So we got that hooked up on that one, that side over there. Now it's time to hook it up on this side. And there it is, connected. And the last piece of the puzzle is this one. So it goes connected from there, to that hole, second hole right there. So let's go ahead and connect that to finish it up. And there it is. Take your time with this. Again, take plenty of pictures, and use, you know, whatever you can at your disposal. Straighten this out real quick. You can see here, everything's put back together. Thankfully, it was a lot easier than the other side, since unfortunately they didn't take much pictures. And well, it's just been a while since I've done brake drums and brake shoes. It's a humbling experience, to say the least. But it looks like everything's back together. And we were contemplating on switching these out, but I guess we just forgot. So we're just going to go ahead and the reason it's leaking is because the little rod kind of got out. So, you know, so there's always little fluid in there, which is why it's wet. It doesn't seem like they're leaking. So we're just going to go ahead with them, and hopefully it doesn't bite us in the butt. So, that said, let's go ahead and fit the new brake drum on this thing here. Make sure to double check your work, of course, obviously. Make sure nothing is loose, nothing is, you know, finicky or anything like that. That's the new brake drum right there. I did spray with brake cleaner inside, just in case there's any contaminants or anything like that, grease or what have you. It's just good practice in my opinion. So let's go ahead and throw this onto here. So a little troubleshooting here. Drum wouldn't fit here, and upon closer look here, I noticed this right here. This bar that goes from side to side here was not, you know, on the slot here, and the spring was pretty much on the bottom of the brake shoe here, which wouldn't let it close completely. So now it looks like it's properly fitted on there. So let's go ahead and try the drum again. The drum slid on no problem, but now the problem is it's a little too loose. Now we're gonna take off the drum and I'll show you how to adjust it. Put the drum off now. Now to adjust it, it's simply this right here, this piece right here. All we have to do is pretty much work it down somewhat, and it'll unscrew from the bottom, let's show you here, from this piece right here, this gap. It's getting wider, which means it's opening up. So we pretty much just continue doing this. Again, to close it, obviously is the opposite side. You may need to lift this a little bit so you can have a easier time screwing it back on. But so what this does, it opens up. It opens up the shoes. It opens up this way, so that way the drum will fit a little bit tighter. So now that we have a little gap right there, let's go ahead and it's pretty much, you know, just a little bit, and put the drum back on. Kind of feel for it. All you're doing is feeling that, you know, the drum isn't too loose, but at the same time not too tight. You want to have that middle ground right there. And there it is. After a couple of adjustments, you know, opening and tightening up the gap, it's on there. It slides on and off, but it doesn't, you know, automatically fall off. Not too tight or too loose, which is perfect. And that's pretty much it. We're done. You know, it's pretty straightforward job once you kind of get an idea of what you're doing. Like I had mentioned, we started this job yesterday. It was actually the next day. We started on the passenger side just to get an idea, kind of freshen up. Got ahead of myself, and it was hell because I didn't know, or it just oversight on my part really. But now that I'm working on the driver's side and more level-headed now, cool-headed, because yesterday I was cussing my life away. And it happens, you know, it's just preparation or, you know, lack of understanding or just, you know, trying to get it done quick, you know, and that's what happens. And it's normal that happens, trying not to make that happen or let that happen. But now I know, okay, first of all, and I knew this, it just got ahead of myself. I don't know what I was thinking. But take plenty of pictures because pictures help a lot. And well, now that I have a better understanding of how, you know, this side works, now I know that I might have messed up a few things on the other side. So now, you know, even if I have to do the other side over again, like I don't want to do it, but you know, I have to. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix my, just make sure everything's fine on the other side. And that is the passenger side. I decided to just go ahead and redo the whole thing. Now that I knew that what I needed to do, the thing that was missing here was the little base for the spring and the little washer that goes in behind this. After that, I needed to make sure that this spring was all the way in, which it wasn't, and it looked like everything is back together properly, so it's definitely a win. Pretty much it. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, throw on the drum, and we should be good to go for bleeding at least. So everything's back together, but got some unfortunate news. The wheel cylinder decided to start leaking. So unfortunately, even though we were done with everything, ready to start bleeding, now I'm gonna have to replace the cylinder. So I went ahead and went purchase it, and here they are. I might as well do both of them. So we're basically gonna do the job over again. Now, you know, just so we can install the new wheel cylinders on both sides. There's a part number right here, 33469. They're both the same. So basically, we're gonna do the job again. We're gonna be pros after this. So a little update, got these parts out, and they decided, well, don't really have to take everything off, just the top springs. That way, you know, the wheel cylinder's now free. Comparing both the new one and the old one, looks like there's only 2 small bolts in the back, and this is for the brake line, and this is the nipple to bleed. So we're about to find out. I'll go behind it and check it out, see how it looks like. So now we are back here, and these are the 2 bolts right there. As you can see, that's one, that's the other one, and the bleeder valve right there, and this is the brake line. So let's go ahead and take off the brake line first. We'll take everything off so you can take off the wheel cylinder. So let's start the struggle. Bam, there you go. Brake line is loose. And the sizes are for the brake line, it's 3/8, a 3/8 key. And the 2 bolts right there are 1/2 inch. So keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and take off the little bolts there so we can take off the cylinder. Show it to you. It's already unbolted. Now it's just simply pulling it off. And there you go. That's the old piece right there. It's all rusty. Let me lay it down here. So it looks like, from the looks of it, we are gonna have to reuse these rods here for the new one, since the new one didn't come with any, and the parts store didn't really know or couldn't find them. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple. It's a lot simpler than I expected. I was expecting to take everything off, but thank God for that. So let's go ahead and get the new one on and button it up so you can, oh, you know, before that, we're actually gonna step on the brakes a few times with the line, just in case there's any gunk in there. So that's probably a good idea to do right now before it runs through the wheel cylinder, so you can clean out the fluid on this side. Then we'll go ahead on the other side and do the same thing. Brand new wheel cylinder, connected, bolted on. Tip, make sure the brake line, the little insert here, the thing that screws onto this wheel cylinder, make sure that screws on straight. Very easy to just mess the thread up on these. So just make sure it goes in straight, for the love of God. Let's go ahead and button this up. Pretty much just connect the top springs over here, so that way we can move on to the other side. All right, so it's finally back together again. Thank God. Everything's back in order. Double checked everything. And the only thing, oh, it's this thing right here. Double, triple check. Because this spring right here has a head. And it kind of jumped to the back there. So I got to jump this forward. Besides that, everything seems to be good. Ready to go to the other side. So let me just take care of this little piece right here. All right, finally. Oh, see that big ass rust spot right there. But anyway, finally got it done. Got both wheel cylinders, got everything buttoned up together, got the drums back on. Everything seems to be adjusted properly. Now last thing to do is pretty much bleed all four corners. And we should have, well, we do have brand new brakes all around. So let's go ahead and bleed the brakes real quick and wrap it up. Finally, we got the brakes, the rear brakes done. The fronts are done as well. We bled the brakes, all four corners. So the way we did it is from farthest to closest to the driver's side. Is that a saxophone? Wow. Anyway, so it's passenger rear, driver rear, passenger front, driver side. So we did hit a little snag on the front passenger because, as you remember, we had replaced the front brake hoses. This passenger front side was leaking for some reason, so that was unexpected. But luckily, it was just the washer. We just pretty much flipped one of the copper washers, and it looked like it sealed the deal right there. So thankfully, that's all it needed. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe for future content, follow us on IG, Los Meros Veras. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Peace.